The history books tell us the British Empire was the pinnacle of civilization. But new theories suggest they were merely the inheritors of a fallen world. We are told that horse and buggy societies built cathedrals that modern engineers struggle to replicate. Does this narrative truly make sense? Welcome to the mystery of Tartaria, a global empire erased from memory, whose fingerprints remain hidden in plain sight across the cities of England. For centuries, maps from the 1500s depicted a vast territory labelled Grand Tartari, covering most of Asia and reaching into Europe. Even the Encyclopaedia Britannica of 1771 listed Tartary as a major country. Yet, by the 20th century, it had vanished from our education. The theory proposes that a cataclysm occurred in the mid-19th century, a massive mud flood that wiped out the population but left buildings intact. Look closely at older buildings in London. Notice the windows buried at street level, leading into basements that look like submerged ground floors. Why would Victorian architects build windows into the dirt? The answer is simple. The ground level rose by several meters, burying the original streets. After this reset, a new population, our ancestors, inherited these empty cities. They dug them out, renamed them, and claimed them as their own creation. Consider the sheer scale of English Gothic architecture. St. Paul's Cathedral was supposedly built in just 35 years after the Great Fire. We are told they used primitive scaffolding and manual labor. Yet, the precision of the stonework rivals modern laser cutting technology. What if St. Paul's was not built in the 1600s, but repaired? A remnant of the Tartarian energy grid that once powered the city wirelessly. Look at the spires, the domes, and the metal obelisks. They resemble Tesla towers more than religious symbols. Conductors for atmospheric ether. The fireplace designs in these old mansions make no sense for heat. They are too small for the room size, but perfect for ionizing airflow. Now, let us examine the Crystal Palace of 1851. A structure of glass and iron, so advanced, it seems impossible for the era. They claim it was built in mere months as a temporary exhibition. 1 million square feet of glass, produced before industrial automation. It is more likely the Crystal Palace was a Tartarian greenhouse or power station, revealed to the public, then destroyed to hide its secrets. Fire has always been the convenient tool of the historian. The Great Fire of London conveniently destroyed the medieval records and layout. Was the fire an accident, or was it a deliberate demolition of the old world to make way for the new narrative of the British Empire? The Victorian era is painted as a time of soot and struggle. Yet their buildings portray a grandeur and cleanliness that contradicts the poverty. Orphans were shipped across the world to populate these empty cities. The orphan trains phenomenon suggests a repopulation effort after the reset. This explains the lack of construction photos. We have photos of the completed buildings, but rarely do we see the foundations being poured. When we do see construction photos, they often look like renovation projects. Scaffolding, covering a structure that is already fully formed. The British Museum itself, with its Greek columns and massive scale. Is it a museum or a repurposed administrative centre of the old empire? Even the timeline of technology is suspicious. We went from horse carriages to flight in a single lifetime. Was this invention or reverse engineering? The Tartarians mastered acoustics, frequency, and vibration. This knowledge is encoded in the cymatic patterns found in cathedral rose windows. But the controllers of the New World wanted a society dependent on coal and oil. So the free energy towers were deactivated or destroyed. We walk through London like tourists in a graveyard of giants, admiring the headstones while forgetting the names of those who built them. The relationship between England and Tartaria is not one of trade, but of conquest. A silent conquest where the loser was wiped from history. As we dig deeper into the archives, the narrative crumbles. The mud flood, the orphans, the impossible architecture, it all points to one truth. Civilization is much older and much more cyclical than we are allowed to believe. And the evidence is standing right in front of us. Let us turn our eyes to the impossible geometry of the star forts scattered across the English coastline and countryside. Historians call them defensive bunkers for cannons. But look at Tilbury Fort from above. The symmetry is not military, it is cymatic. These star shapes mirror the patterns created by sound frequencies in water. They were likely immense power plants, vibrating with the Earth's energy. The water surrounding them was not a moat for defense, but a necessary conductor for the etheric technology they utilized. Now, consider the Royal Pavilion in Brighton. It looks distinctly Indian or Islamic, utterly alien to the cold English climate. We are told King George IV built it as a seaside retreat. But does it not look like a palace of the East, simply repurposed by the new rulers? The narrative of the Industrial Revolution is the perfect cover story. It explains the sudden appearance of massive machinery and steel. They say the Victorians built the extensive canal systems of Birmingham and Manchester with shovels and wheelbarrows. Thousands of miles of precise waterways, locked and leveled perfectly. Is it reasonable to believe this was done by manual labor in the rain? Examine the early photographs of London from the 1860s. The streets are often eerily empty, a phenomenon they blame on exposure times. But when people do appear, they look like blurred ghosts, dwarfed by the magnificent stone arches towering above them. The population seems too small for the city. They look like squatters, living in the ruins of Rome, wearing rags amidst splendor. This brings us to the Great Exhibition of 1851. It wasn't just the Crystal Palace, it was a showcase of found technology. Wireless telegraphy, pneumatic tubes, and electric carriages. Technologies we think are modern were already present, then suppressed. The wars of the 20th century may have had a darker purpose, the final cleanup of the Tartarian architecture that remained in Europe. Bombing campaigns often targeted historical city centres, the cathedrals and old halls, while leaving industrial factories untouched. Coventry Cathedral, destroyed in the Blitz. Was it a strategic target, or was it simply too obvious a remnant of the old world tech? The destruction continues today, but silently. Modernist architecture is designed to break the connection to our aesthetic past. Brutalist concrete blocks replace the intricate fractal designs that once resonated with the human spirit and the Earth's frequency. Even the airships of the early 1900s. We are told they were dangerous and slow. Perhaps they were the primary transport of Tartaria. Safe, silent, and anti-gravitic. The Hindenburg disaster was a staged event to push the world toward oil-burning jet engines. The sheer number of insane asylums built in the Victorian era is also suspicious. Massive, castle-like structures for the mentally ill. Perhaps these were not prisons for the mad, but re-education centers for those who remembered the world before the reset. They had to silence the generation that survived the mud flood. History is written by the victors, and the victors erased Tartaria. But the stone remains. The gargoyles on the churches look down on us, mocking our ignorance of the true masters who carved them. We are a species with amnesia, wandering through a high-tech circuit board that we mistake for a simple city of brick and mortar. The Empire of Tartaria did not die in battle. It was dismantled, brick by brick, lie by lie, until only the shadow remained. England is not just a country, it is a crime scene. A museum of stolen goods where the thieves claim to be the artists. So next time you walk past the Tower of London, ask yourself, who really laid that first stone? And where did they go? The truth is hidden in the mud. It is waiting for us to wipe our eyes and see the world as it truly was. Have you ever wondered why old churches have massive pipe organs? They are far too complex just to play hymns on Sundays. The theory suggests these organs were sound frequency machines. When played at specific tones, they could heal the body or levitate heavy stone. They removed the original bells from the towers. The old bells were not for timekeeping, they were for resonance, purifying the city air. During World War II, thousands of church bells were melted down for munitions, a convenient excuse to destroy the healing technology. Let us visit the city of Bath. We are told the Romans built these thermal baths with underfloor heating 2,000 years ago. But the masonry matches the Georgian buildings above perfectly. Perhaps Roman is just another code word for the Tartarian era. The water in Bath is naturally radioactive. In the Old World, this wasn't dangerous. It was a source of vitality and energy harvesting. Consider the statues of London. We see incredibly realistic figures of humans and animals, carved from solid marble with impossible detail. Look at the veils on the statues. To carve a transparent veil out of stone requires technology we do not possess today. Some believe these are not carvings at all. They are the petrified remains of the giants who once walked the streets of Albion. The term fossil is used to explain away bones found in the mud. But the mud flood fossilized everything instantly, preserving the truth. Now look at the streetlights of Victorian London. They were originally gas lamps, or so we are told by the history books. But photos show bulbs glowing without gas lines. They were likely powered wirelessly by the atmospheric electricity of the grid. When the controllers took over, they dug up the streets to lay cables. They moved us from free wireless energy to metered electricity. It is a system of control. If you have to pay for heat and light, you are a slave to the system. Tartaria was free. The fireplaces in the great halls of England have no chimneys. They were not for burning wood. They were radium heaters. They placed radioactive stones in the metal grates, which ionized the air and warmed the massive rooms without smoke. This explains why the elite lived in such massive, high-ceilinged rooms. They had the technology to heat them efficiently. What about the folly towers in the countryside? Wealthy landowners built random towers for no reason? Unlikely. These were relay stations. They extended the wireless network from the cities out to the agricultural zones of the empire. The clues are in the language. Ark of the Covenant, arc electricity, cathedral, cathode. The words reveal the function. We are living in the ruins of a future that happened in the past. The British Empire was merely a salvage operation. They catalogued the items, destroyed what they couldn't understand, and sold the rest back to us as new inventions. The sewing machine, the car engine, the radio, all appeared at the same time in the late 1800s. A sudden explosion of genius, or simply the moment when the inheritors finally figured out how to turn the machines of Tartaria back on? The truth is uncomfortable. It means our history books are fiction. It means our progress is actually a regression. But the awakening has begun. People are looking at the buildings with new eyes. They are asking the forbidden questions. Tartaria may be gone, but its stone bones remain. And as long as the buildings stand, the lie cannot be fully maintained. The mud flood covered the door, but it did not lock it. We are the ones holding the key, waiting to unlock the past. This is the story of the lost empire, the story of England's true origin, and the story that they never wanted you to hear.